When your reflection in the mirror becomes something more than just you, prepare to confront the terrifying truth that lies beyond the glass. Emma had always been fascinated by mirrors. She found them both alluring and unsettling, like windows to a world just beyond reach. Her collection of antique mirrors filled her small, dimly lit apartment, each one with its own unique history and character. They adorned her walls, reflecting her image from every angle, creating a surreal and slightly disconcerting ambience. One evening, as Emma stood before her grand, ornate mirror, she noticed something unusual. Her reflection seemed to hesitate for a fraction of a second before moving with her. It was as if the mirror had a mind of its own, a peculiar glitch in the glass. She dismissed it as a trick of the light, but unease gnawed at her. Over the next few days, the strange phenomenon continued. Emma's reflection no longer moved in perfect synchrony with her. It lagged behind, mimicking her actions with a disturbing delay. She couldn't shake the eerie feeling that something was awry with her mirrors. One night, as Emma brushed her hair before the grand mirror, her reflection didn't follow her movements at all. Instead, it stood eerily still, its eyes fixed on her with a malevolent glare. A chill ran down her spine, and she stumbled back, her heart pounding. She decided it was time to investigate her mirrors. Emma spent hours researching online, delving into obscure forums and articles about haunted mirrors and their sinister histories. She learned about the superstitions that linked mirrors to otherworldly realms and the belief that spirits could become trapped within them. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emma began experimenting with her mirrors. She placed objects in front of them, hoping to capture any unusual movements or anomalies. To her horror, the objects seemed to disappear into the reflective surfaces, vanishing without a trace. As the days passed, Emma's reflection became increasingly malevolent. It no longer mimicked her actions but moved independently, taunting her with sinister gestures and expressions. Emma's sleepless nights took a toll on her, and she became a mere shell of her former self. Desperation led her to seek the help of a renowned paranormal investigator named Samuel Blackwood. He arrived at Emma's apartment with an array of equipment and a deep knowledge of the supernatural. He listened carefully to her story and examined the mirrors one by one. Mirrors, Samuel explained, have long been believed to be portals to other dimensions, and in rare cases, malevolent entities can use them as gateways into our world. He conducted a series of tests, his equipment revealing unusual energy fluctuations around the mirrors. Samuel's face grew grave as he studied the readings. "Emma," he said, "you've unwittingly awakened something dark within these mirrors. We must confront this entity before it gains more power." That night, Emma and Samuel stood before the grand mirror. Samuel began a ritual, chanting incantations and drawing symbols in the air. The mirror's surface rippled like water, and a sinister presence emerged, taking shape in the glass. The entity, a shadowy figure with hollow eyes, sneered at them. "You can't banish me," it hissed, its voice a chilling whisper. "I have existed here for centuries, feeding on fear and despair." Samuel continued the ritual, his determination unwavering. The room filled with an otherworldly light, and the entity screeched in agony as it was slowly pulled back into the mirror's depths. With a final burst of energy, Samuel sealed the mirror with an ancient sigil. The apartment fell silent, and Emma's reflection returned to normal. She and Samuel knew that the entity had been banished, but the mirrors remained forever changed, their eerie allure replaced by a lingering sense of dread. Emma decided to part with her collection of mirrors, selling them to an antique store with a warning about their sinister history. As the last mirror left her apartment, she couldn't help but glance at her reflection one final time, half expecting it to defy the barrier between worlds. The shadow's reflection had been banished, but the terrifying truth that lay beyond the glass would forever haunt Emma's nightmares. She had learned the hard way that mirrors could reveal not only our reflections, but also the darkest secrets of the supernatural, lurking just beneath the surface of our world. After the ordeal with the malevolent entity trapped within her mirrors, Emma found herself forever changed. Though the cursed mirrors were gone, the scars they left on her psyche were indelible. She moved into a new apartment, devoid of mirrors, determined to leave the horrors of her past behind. Life slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy, and Emma began to rebuild her shattered existence. Samuel Blackwood had become a close friend and confidant, their shared experience forging an unbreakable bond. He continued his work as a paranormal investigator, traveling the country to confront and dispel malevolent entities. Emma, on the other hand, decided to use her traumatic experience as a source of inspiration for her art. She was a talented painter, and she found solace in the act of creating. Her paintings often depicted surreal landscapes and eerie scenes, a reflection of the darkness she had faced. Her work garnered attention, and her hauntingly beautiful pieces began to sell. One day, while perusing an antique store for props to use in her artwork, Emma came across an old, ornate mirror. Despite her aversion to mirrors, she felt an inexplicable connection to this particular one. It exuded an aura of mystery and intrigue, and she couldn't resist the temptation to purchase it. Emma transported the mirror to her studio and propped it against a blank canvas. She intended to paint her own reflection, using the mirror as a reference. As she began to sketch her image, she noticed that the mirror seemed different from the others. It had an ethereal quality, as if it held a secret yet to be revealed. As her brushstrokes danced across the canvas, Emma's reflection in the mirror started to shift. Unlike her previous mirrors, this one did not display any malevolent intent. Instead, it seemed to be guiding her, its movements fluid and graceful. Emma felt an unusual sense of comfort, as if her reflection were an old friend. Days turned into weeks, and Emma's relationship with the mirror deepened. She found herself spending hours in front of it, painting and conversing with her reflection. It seemed to possess a wisdom and insight beyond her own, offering guidance and solace during her darkest moments. One evening, as she gazed into the mirror, Emma's reflection spoke to her in a soft, soothing voice. "Emma," it said, "you have faced the shadows of the past and emerged stronger, but there is still much you need to learn, and the answers lie within you." Intrigued and curious, Emma asked, "What do you mean?" Her reflection continued. "The mirrors you once feared held a dark entity, but they also held a piece of your own inner strength. The entity may have been banished, but the strength remains within you. Embrace it, harness it, and you will discover the true extent of your power." Emma took her reflection's words to heart. She realized that her past experiences had given her a unique insight into the supernatural, a gift she could use to help others. With Samuel's guidance, she began to explore her newfound abilities, honing her skills as a paranormal investigator. Together with Samuel, Emma faced numerous supernatural threats, banishing malevolent entities and providing closure to those tormented by the paranormal. Her connection with her reflection, the mirror that had once unnerved her, proved to be her greatest asset. It served as a source of strength and guidance, enabling her to confront the darkest corners of the supernatural world. As the years passed, Emma and Samuel became renowned in their field, known as the dynamic duo who could face any otherworldly challenge. And while the shadows of the past still haunted Emma's nightmares, she had discovered a power within herself that transcended fear and darkness. The enigmatic mirror, once feared, had become a trusted ally, a reflection of her own inner strength. Emma had learned that mirrors could reveal not only nightmares, but also the resilience and courage hidden within the human spirit, waiting to be unleashed when needed most.